All right, 5.4, sum and difference. You guys will be given, like I said, you will be given these formulas on the actual test when you go to take it. What I need you to write down and to remember are these two things. The first thing, I want you to write down, you're going to use this when the given angles, so we'll say when given angles are not on the unit circle. All right, they're going to say, what's the cosine of 75? Well, 75 is not on the unit circle, so that's why we use these formulas, because you're going to find two angles that are on the unit circle that either add or subtract to give you that. Super easy, I promise. We'll go through it. You're going to use, why don't I have enough room here? All right here. You're going to use, yeah? Yeah, 1 second, hang on. Use angles on the unit circle. We're going to use a combination of angles that are on the unit circle. So we'll say in combination. Okay? Let me zoom out a little bit. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, here. I'll stop for a second, let you get. Okay, so if you notice, guys, I have my unit circle here. I pasted it in. What else did I do? I did the tangent, so I don't even have to think. I just put it there. You're welcome to do that if you would like on your notes. I think it's a good idea. Or some of you will just memorize it, which is fine. So I go over here, and it says find the exact value of cosine of 75. So if I go to my unit circle, ladies and gents, is cosine on, is 75 on the unit circle? No. So what we're going to do here is they're telling me to find cosine. So they're telling me what trig function to use. So I'm going to write down, what is this, letter A? I'm going to say A, and they want me to find the cosine of 75 degrees. Okay? Now, there could be different combinations for different problems. For the same number. So it doesn't matter what you guys use as long as it either adds or subtracts to. But 75. What two angles on the unit circle could add up or subtract to give you 75?
30 and 45.
Okay, 30 and 45. Is there any other combination? Probably. I'm not going to go through and do a whole bunch. But you're just finding two angles that either add or subtract to give you the number they're looking at. So I'm going to say, you can call them whatever you want, A, B. I'm going to call them U and V. So we said, what, 45 and 30? 35 and 40? Doesn't matter. So 45 and 30. Okay? Do you guys agree with me that 45 plus 30 equals 75? Correct? So we're looking for cosine. So they're telling me which formula to use. They're telling me to use cosine. Now, you have to determine which cosine formula to use. To make 75, did you add those two together or did you subtract them? So we're going to use the formula right here that says cosine U plus V. Everybody see that? You guys see that? Yes? So I'm going to say U plus V. Now, if you need to take that formula by itself and put it on top of your problem, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Sometimes what I think a good thing to do is but I would go to 45 degrees and I would go to 30 degrees and I would write their ordered pair. So I'm going to write the ordered pair for 45. What is the ordered pair for 45? Okay, both positive. So it's root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2. What is the ordered pair for 30? Okay, so root 3 over 2 and 1/2. All right, so, and I'm going to label, this is my x, this is my y, this is my x, this is my y. I'm going to remind myself that cosine is the x value, sine is the y value. Right, you guys good? I haven't done anything yet, I'm just kind of like, just talking. So now, this is what I think you should do since this is brand new. Let's just rewrite the formula using 45s and 30s. So my formula says cosine of u. So I'm going to say the cosine of 45 degrees. And then it says times the cosine of what? V. So times the cosine of 30. What's that middle sign? Minus. That is not a typo. Follow the formula. Then it's sine u, sine v. So sine of 45 times the sine of 30. Okay, we've done absolutely no math. All we've done is just look at the unit circle. Now, promise you it's this easy, guys. Promise, promise, promise. You're going to now say, okay, cosine of 45. What's the x value of 45 degrees? So it's root 2 over 2 times, what is the x value of 30? Root 3 over 2 minus, what is the y value of 45? Root 2 over 2 times, what is the y value of 30? 1/2. Questions? Does anyone have any questions? I found two angles that either add or subtract to the one that I'm looking for. So at the beginning, they told me you're going to use one of the cosine formulas since we're looking for cosine. Since I added the two angles together, I did the cosine u plus v. I always write this step out just because I don't want to make any silly mistakes. It's really, really easy to make silly mistakes here. So now we just simplify, guys. If I have the square root of 2 times the square root of 3, that gives me what? The square root of 6 over, what's 2 times 2? 4. Minus, numerators, square root of 2 times 1. Square root of 2 over 2 times 2 is 4. Now, can I simplify the square root of 6 divided by 4 or the square root of 2 divided by 4? No. Can I just cross them out?
No.
If it was 6 over 4, absolutely. But the square root of 6 is a weird decimal number that we don't really care for. So now, can I rewrite this? Can I write this a little more simplified over one denominator? It would be root 6 minus root 2 over 4. And that is your answer. All right, let's move on to B. Okay, so let's do B. I'll do B down here. What is the question for B? What does it say? Okay, it says sine pi over 12. Hold on. Okay, so we have sine pi over 12. All right. Do you guys know what pi over 12 is?
No.
Can we figure out what pi over 12 is?
Yeah.
Change it to what? Let's convert to degrees, all right? So we know what angle measurement we're even talking about. So if I'm going to convert to degrees, my pi's will cancel out. I have 180 over 12. Anybody? What's 180 divided by 12? Carver. It is 15 degrees. So we are looking for the sine of 15 degrees. So they're already telling you which formula to use. What sum and difference formula are we going to use? Sine. Okay, so it's either sine plus or sine minus. So go to your unit circle and tell me two angles that you could multiply, add or subtract to give you 15. 45 and 30, okay. So again, we're going to use the same one, okay, whatever. So u equals 45, v equals 30. Why does it matter for order here? Because you're subtracting, okay? So make sure you guys pay attention to that. I told you what I think the easy thing is to do. I would say my ordered pair for 45 is root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. And my ordered pair for 30, what was it? Good, root 3 over 2 and 1/2, okay? And then again, I put my x and my y just because it's really easy to make silly mistakes.
Does it matter?
No.
If you're subtracting this?
What's up?
You would obviously, like, most common sense is to use like the smallest numbers as possible, right? To make it easier on us.
It doesn't matter because question was, should you just try and use the smallest numbers? The numbers don't actually, I mean, the size of the angle numbers that you use doesn't matter because your only ordered pairs you're going to have are root 2 over 2, 1/2, root 3 over 2, or root 3 over 2, 1/2. Just the signs change depending on which quadrant it's in. So like if you use 300 for something, it's still going to have the same ordered pair of one of the a combination of those three, just negatives and positives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, these two just both work out to be in the first quadrant, so. All right, so guys, I don't have it in front of me, so tell me. I'm going to do sine, and what are we doing with these two angles? We adding them or subtracting them? So it's going to be sine of 45 minus 30. What does the formula look like for sine when you're subtracting the two angles?
Sine u times cosine u.
Okay, so sine u, so sine 45 times cosine of v, which is 30, minus cosine 45 sine of 30. Now, if we asked you guys to memorize these, would that be difficult? Yes. Because they're tricky, you know? I mean, like, you have to remember if it's sine or if it's sine cosine or something like that. But since we're giving these to you guys, take your time. Tonight on your homework, or this weekend on your homework, every single problem you do, you should have your formulas right next to you. So you just keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Now, it's really, really easy. We just plug in sine 45. No, you're fine. What is the y value of 45? Radical 2 over 2 times, what is the x value of 30? Radical 3 over 2 minus, what is the x value of 45? Radical 2 over 2. And then what is the y value of 30? 1/2. So now let's simplify. What's root 2 times root 3? Root 6 over 4 minus, what's root 2 times 1? Root 2 over, so what's my simplified answer? Okay, does it happen to be the exact same thing that we just did? Yes, but it's a different trig function, right? We did cosine in the first one, we got sine in the second one. A lot of your answers will look just like this, or a combination, something similar to this. But let's go through the steps again. All right, you figure out in degrees what angle you're looking for. So if it's in radians, change it to degrees. Then take your unit circle, and there's not just always one combination of angles. There could be different ones, but find the angles that you add or subtract to find the given angle measure that you're looking for. Then you match it with whatever formula you got to use, and then you just plug in. But this step right here, guys, I cannot tell you how important it is because it's really easy to make mistakes. So if you write out sine of whatever angle, cosine of whatever angle, not the u's and the v's, if you actually write out what you're looking at, it's not terribly difficult. Questions? We okay?
I just have a question on like,
If you notice here, it says find the exact value. They're telling you right here what formula to use. They want you to use the sine of u plus v. Okay, fine, whatever. They're telling you, but we got to figure out all the stuff. There's two different triangles here. All right, easiest way to do this. You have triangle u, you got triangle v. Okay, we have two triangles. Let's look at just this first triangle. They're telling me that the sine is 4 over 5. So guys, think about this, okay? My sine is 4 over 5. I have x, I have y, and I have r. We've done this a gajillion times. What is sine? What over what?
y over
It's y, so 4 over 5, correct? How do we find x? Guys. Pythagorean theorem, okay. Got scared for a second. We're going to use our Pythagorean theorem. So x squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. X squared plus 16 equals 25. X squared equals, what's 16 minus 25? 9. Take the square root. What does my x equal? 3. All right. Now, this second thing that they tell us is very important. All right. I have my x, my y, and my r, but they tell me that the angle lies Where?
Between 0 and 90.
So let's think about this. Between 0 and 90, or pi over 2. So what is that telling you? It's right here. What is that telling you about your x value and your y value? They're both positive, okay? So here's all the information I need for triangle U. That's it. That's all I need. You can draw it. You don't have to, though. You can draw it. So let's go over to V, and let's figure out what we need here, what we have here. All right, they tell me that the cosine is negative 12 over 13. What is cosine? What over what? X over r. So I have x is 12, r is 13. Which one is negative? Why is it the x? R is always positive. Awesome. So let's find the missing value. I have negative 12 squared plus y squared equals 13 squared. 144 plus y squared equals 169. If I take 169 minus 144, what do I get? 25. Take the square root, and y equals what? 5. Okay. Now, this is the information I need, but I got to look. What did they tell me here? This angle lies between pi over 2 and pi. So it's over here in the second quadrant. So what do I know about x and y? X is negative, y is? Okay, we're good to go. All right, that is the only information you need. The second piece tells you the signs, S-I-G-N-S, positive or negative, of your x and y. That's why you need it. But you have all the information you need now. Because now I say, okay, they want me to do the sine formula. Correct? That's what they told us, sine. So let's write out our sine formula, or just look at it, however you guys want to do it. I'm going to write it out down here. So it's sine of u plus v. Okay? What's the formula say? Remind me. Sine of what? Sine of u times what? Cosine of v. Then what? Plus cosine of u times the sine of v. All right, so now let's figure out what we need. Sine of u. What is the sine of triangle u? How do you find the sine when you have x, y, and r? Sine is y over r, so it's what? 4 over 5 times cosine is what? X over r, so it's negative 12 over what? 13, okay, plus cosine of u. What's cosine? So cosine of u is 3 over 5, right? And then I have the sine of v. What's sine? And the v triangle is 5 over 13. And now we go back to 6th grade. Let's multiply fractions. What's 4 times negative 12? Negative 48. No, you don't have a calculator, but yes, you guys can do this. What is 13 times 5? 65, good. Plus, what's 3 times 5? 15. Over, what's 5 times 13? 65. All right, when we add fractions, we need a common denominator. Do we have one? So I write over 65. What's negative 48 plus 15? Negative, what? 33. Yep. And that's it. All you do is what we've done, feels like for the last 8 weeks, this x, y, and r. But you just have 2 triangles. So you got to figure out the x, y, and r of one triangle, the x, y, and the r of the other triangle. You have to remember which quadrant. You got to figure out which quadrant it's in, and then just follow the formula. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. If it makes you feel better, you know you're doing sine, and you write, okay, sine for this triangle is going to be 4 over 5, and cosine is going to be 3 over 5. If that helps you, so then you don't even have to think when you look up to whichever triangle, do that. So then all you have to do is go, okay, sine 4/5, cosine 3/5. You know, like you don't even have to think about it. You can just look and go, oh, okay, that goes there. Oh, that goes there.